What's good, family? It's your boy Reno, tuning in live on my Reno Speech Life channel. Yes, y'all, I know it's been a while, right? But I made a commitment, all right? And this what a commitment look like. I don't care if it's been 2, 3 months, 4 months, right? If I say I'm gonna be on there, y'all, and build up that channel like I did my Reno Speech Riches channel, that's what it's gonna be, okay? So here we are, y'all. We outside connected with nature, okay? And so whenever y'all get the chance, y'all be sure to do so. You know, nature tell you everything that you need to know. But I have a very intriguing and interesting topic today, y'all. All right, and it is someone misses you bad, okay? The regret is real. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, someone misses you bad. The regret is real. Understand that, y'all. It is. You know, people feel as if they can find another good person just by the day, right? They think it's only going to take them a few days, a few weeks. In actuality, they may not see another good person until another decade, right? Is that real? Because they don't make them like us no more. You know, somebody drop in the comments and say, they don't make them like me no more. You know, y'all, to find a good-hearted person, kind-hearted person, very compassionate, loving, okay, giving, all those things, y'all. And then on top of that, attractive, everything that you want, charming, okay? To find a person like that, y'all, and be able to sustain and keep them, it's going to take some work, right? And not only work, y'all, but it's going to take God, too. I'm going to tell you, the reason why is because he sends out his chosen ones sparingly, right? He sends out his chosen ones sparingly. And once you mess them over, he won't send you another one. He won't send you another one, right? And so with that being said, y'all, yes, they miss you bad. The regret is real. They regret cheating on you. They regret hurting you. They regret lying on you. They regret, partaking in destroying you. They regret with dealing with your enemies and people who you didn't even deal with no more. But they joined them just to take you down. They regret it now. And I'm about to tell you why. All right? So with that being said, y'all, first reason, it's going to be this right here. Dependence. See, people think that you can only be dependent on a person financially. Oh, no. You can be dependent on a person mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, right? Which is connected to physically. You can be dependent on a person psychologically, which is connected to mentally. But what I'm trying to get y'all to realize is it ain't just only money, although money play a big part. Now, financially, people can tend to take your resources for granted, especially when you give them out to them freely. You have to pay attention and be careful who you are giving your money to. I'm just going to be honest, y'all. Everybody don't deserve your hard-earned dollar, because some people would take it and say, well, I'll wait until you give me another one. You're going to give me another one soon, so that's why you have to give it out sparingly, okay? But see, what happens is, y'all, when they go out into the real world, because when they're dealing with you, that's not the real world. You got feelings for them. One saying that one of my old homeboys would say is, everybody ain't your wife, right? Everybody ain't your husband. So you can't go out here expecting for a person to treat you like their husband, for a person to treat you like their wife. You can't. It ain't gonna happen. It takes time to build it up. But they think that since I was dependent on this person financially, I can go out here and be dependent on the next person financially. And it ain't gonna happen. Some people get dependent emotionally. Well, good luck with that. Especially hoping that people have feelings out here. Because y'all, listen, we live in the last days. Ain't nobody got no feelings, right? Somebody drop in the comments and say, get out your feelings. Ain't nobody out here got no feelings, y'all. I'm going to just be honest. And when you do find them, hang on to them. But like I said, he sends out sparingly of his chosen ones, right? He sends his chosen ones out sparingly. But sticking to the point, y'all, they feel as if they can depend on everyone else out here. See, this is what happens when people never learn how to be independent, right? You transition from pillow to post. You transition from house to house. You transition from place to place. thinking that you're going to get the same treatment. Do you know how many people, how many football players, NFL football players and NBA players transition to another team just because it looked it better, but then they go over there and realize that, dang, at least my old coach cared about me. This coach just see me as a paycheck, right? I was watching Temptations the other day, and one thing that I picked up on was when the Temptations wanted to leave Motown and go to, I think they went to Atlantic Records or something like that, they realized that they had been spoiled. Ain't that something? They realized that they had been spoiled. But at the time, they was like, hey, we're not getting hits. Y'all ain't doing this. Y'all ain't doing that. We ain't making no money. We got bills to pay. Went to Atlantic Records and wanted to go back. They had became dependent on how they treated them. So that was connected to their emotions, emotionally. Some people get dependent mentally to where you have to pour into their mind all day, every day, right? Psychologically, people need to see you in order for them to have a great day, right? But this is why they miss you, because they had became dependent on you in all these ways. So understand something, y'all. They miss you, right? Because they miss the independence that you were able to provide. They miss that stability, okay? But the stability is now gone. Causes them to miss you. Number 2, y'all, they thought the grass was greener. Yeah, y'all, this right here is the classic one. They thought that the grass was greener. You know, a lot of people think that turf and real grass are the same from a distance. But when you walk up on it and you touch that turf, you start feeling them little rocks up underneath it. Yeah, you start seeing that, oh, this fake grass, right? Unfortunately, people have to go through this. And unfortunately, people, their relationships, their friendships, right? Their livelihoods, jobs and stuff like that, it's not grass. Which means you don't always get a second chance with a person, okay? When you touch that grass, you realize, oh, bad me, it's just turf. But when you do another person wrong, you got to live with that. That's a thorn that's going to be in your rib for the rest of your life, okay? And if you get a second chance, then, you know, appreciate it. But most of us don't. But sticking to the point, y'all, a lot of people always think that the grass is green. You know, when you eating inside of Burger King, for some reason you think that Wendy's tastes better. When you're eating in Wendy's, for some reason you think that McDonald's tastes better. But Reno, all of those are low franchises and low food chains that has terrible food. Well, guess what? When you're eating at a high quality restaurant like Ruth Chris, gotta understand something, y'all. There's places called Morton, okay? There's places that are higher than Ruth Chris. With that being said, it's gonna always seem like someone has more. It's gonna always seem like someone else is living a better life, especially when you're looking at it on social media, okay? The grass was not greener. And this is what they realized. Now they miss you. Point blank, period. Number 3, y'all, it's gonna be this right here, family. They miss what you do. Yeah, y'all, they miss what you do. So yeah, they miss you, but mainly they miss what you do. They miss what you can do for them. So maybe you were, you know, supplying resources for them. Maybe you were paying their phone bill. Maybe you were taking them out to eat every day, right? You know, maybe you bought them clothes. Maybe you took them in, but they miss what you can do for them. You know, y'all, some people fall in love with your hand and not your heart. Yeah, family, some people fall in love with what you can give and not what you have in your heart, okay? And you have to be very mindful of that, because the moment you stop giving it, it's the moment they're going to show you their true colors. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? They miss what you can do. You know, y'all, I was listening to a podcast, and this guy was basically saying that he was only in love with this woman as long as she could provide certain things. And he was being very transparent, right? Such as sex, such as, you know, being a sugar mama to him, such as taking them here, taking them there, because the woman was much older. However, you still don't play with people's feelings. But I can respect his transparency and honesty, but I can't respect what he did, right? However, y'all, the point is that as he was dealing with this older woman, who just clearly wanted a companion, right? And someone to kick it with and possibly even go further with. He took advantage and he made himself think that he was in love, but in actuality, he was only in love with what she can do. And he came clean and said, hey man, she was a sugar mama for me. But the same thing happens with us, y'all. Some people only fall in love with what we can do for people. And the moment we can't do it no more, they are no longer in love. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. Next thing, family, it's going to be this right here, family. Number 4, your silence, okay? Your silence. See, your silence made them miss you so bad. A response is not as powerful as not giving one, okay? Sometimes, y'all, the best response is none at all. Whenever you don't give a person a response, whenever you don't give a person an answer, that causes a person to think even more. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Reno, that's emotional abuse. I get it. It can be. And it actually is. But it depends on how you're using it and what you're using it for. Anything in moderation can be good for you. Anything that is overly, done can be bad for you. Water, soap, detergent, wine, alcohol, smoke, the list goes on. However, y'all, you got to understand something. With silence, sometimes you get the response that you need. Sometimes you get the reaction that you need. And sometimes you have to withdraw to see who's willing to deposit in your life. Once again, it's not about money. It's about the time that you will spend. It's about the energy that you will waste. Okay? It's about the effort that you are giving. Sometimes you have to be silent in order to see who's loud, in order to see their true colors, in order to see who's going to stick around. All right? Because guess what, y'all? When you talk so much, sometimes people can't hear you. Sometimes people don't understand when you keep explaining, when you keep trying to show, when you overly apologize and overly explain and overly, display. Understand something, y'all. Your silence will be much more respected. This is going to cause that person to reach out. This is going to cause that person to realize how much you mean to them. This is going to cause that person to see your value, right? Moving on to the next thing, y'all, is going to be the next one, which is number 5. That is familiarity, okay? Familiarity. Some people are only around you because they are familiar with you, all right? They're used to you. The moment they get familiar with someone else or something else, they gone, right? You ever notice, y'all, you see people who've been married for 20 years, 30 years, okay, 10 years, 5 years, and they are not happy. You know why? Because they really don't want to be with one another, but they have become comfortable with one another. They have become familiar with one another, right? And so, family, whenever you get familiar with something, and if you stay around it, you become comfortable. And if you become comfortable, then you stop growing. Make sense of what I'm saying, family? So this is why they miss you. The regret is real. They are familiar with you. But just because they miss you, it doesn't mean that they still won't dish you. Just because they miss you, it doesn't mean that they're going to do right by you, right? So just understand the reasons of why they miss you and keep it pushing, okay? But with that being said, y'all, once again, I know I'm supposed to be on this channel, supposed to been posting, y'all, but here we are. We're building the Rich Mentality Academy. We're building so many other content houses, and now we're getting right back to it. So, family, I need y'all to stay tuned in to everything that's going on. All right, y'all hit the link in my description, in my bio. Join the Rich Mentality Academy, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.